The Alex Sarr train wreck continues. I'm officially calling it that. 1 for 6 from the floor. The Wizards won their summer league game over the Kings, but he finished with 2 points on 6 shots with 5 fouls. He did have 11 rebounds. He rebounded the ball well. But man, he is now 1 for 21 from the floor in his last 2 summer league games. I don't think that's an exaggeration to say like that may be the worst 2 game summer league stretch any player has ever had in NBA Summer League history. And look, this was a kid who people thought was the most talented player in this draft class, was projected to go first overall until he refused to work out for the team picking first overall. He goes second. He got to pick where he goes. And the Wizards may not care because Bob Carrington has been pretty great until he went
Yep.
2 for 11 in this game as well. But Sarr just does not look the part to me, man. And we did a video when he went 0 for 15. It's our second Sarr video in 2 days. I think it's that much of a disaster. It warrants one. What have you seen from Sarr?
I have not seen a ready basketball player quite yet. I think if you want to sell me on his physical upside, that was the pitch in the pre-draft process. I don't see what he does better than Donovan Clingan or Zach Edey. Even from a like mobility, physicality standpoint. I don't see it. I don't know what's there. My concern with Alex Sarr, now that he's changing his number, by the way, we're 2 games in the summer league and he's already switching his number from number 12 to number 20.
Is that a red flag, Brian?
Here, let's just go through Alex Sarr's brief NBA career so far, right? Comes in projected to be the number 1 pick, and he's pretty much the number 1 pick throughout the process up until late. And then he is demanding that he's not going to go to the Hawks. He's going to go to the Wizards because that's where he wants to be. And that's where he has the best chance to be successful, right? He's got to have everything perfect around him. Gets drafted by Washington. That's great. Goes to Summer League, stinks it up. Absolutely terrible. Makes Caleb Love look efficient. Then he's got to switch his number back to what it was when he played for Perth, number 20, because things weren't correct around him. And that's going to fix some things, is the number, make him feel more comfortable. We're 2 games into the Summer League career. He's acting like a needy Paul George who's got to have everything perfect around him, and then he can be a superstar. Meanwhile, this needy Paul George is 1 of 21 in Summer League.
I mean, it's true. You haven't said a lie.
Is he making Jordan Poole look like the more mature Wizard?
Oh God, I feel bad for Wizards fans, man. But at the same time, I would flop the Pistons roster for the Wizards roster so fast if I could. So I don't have room to talk. Look, I sometimes it feels like we beat a dead horse when like something drastic like this happens, and we had takes before the draft, and I don't know. Look, Sarr may end up a great NBA player still. It's summer league. There's a long way to go here. But I was out on him in the pre-draft. I went back and listened to what we said in the scouting report. I was like, I don't get why this dude is the consensus one in a normal draft. He feels like the guy that you take that's entirely potential. And
Yep.
some team in the 5 through 7 range talks themselves into it, and you figure it out. And I get this draft class was down, but there were proven commodities that at least would be good NBA players in this draft class, especially at his position, like Donovan Clingan and Zach Edey and Khalil Ware. We knew what those guys were. And for everyone to sit here and say, we didn't, and nobody's worth a pick. This draft class is horrible. Let's take the guy who averaged 9 and 4 in Perth with a hitch in his jumper. It will never make sense to me. It just felt like draft people getting too cute. And sometimes I feel like there's a hive mindset. We experienced the hive mindset with NBA stuff this week when, we just made like a fun little NBA redraft video and people wanted our heads on stakes. It's like, it's not this serious. Let's all just calm down for a minute. And I'm not saying Sarr's cooked. Obviously, there's a long way to go, but I haven't seen a guy look worse in summer league ever. I just haven't. And
All this means is that he's going to drop a 30 piece next game.
Probably.
That's all this means.
It's like Bronny, right? We're dogging Bronny, as was everybody else, and then he has 2 really good games back to back. Yeah, I don't know, man. I will give him credit. Like, at least he was rebounding the basketball, because from watching his first couple games, it felt like if he's not involved and doing well offensively, it seemed like he was floating through everything else. And this game, at least he made a concerted effort on the boards and made his presence felt there. But I don't know, man. Like if you're a good basketball player, it's so hard to go 1 for 21. Like he's 7 foot and he 1 for 21 in any basketball setting just feels insane to me if you're have a pulse on a basketball court, you know?
Yeah. I've spoken on several of our pre-draft videos um about my incredibly detailed and very well researched, very shocking theory about good basketball players at lower levels being good basketball players at higher levels too, and that you kind of have to be good before you get drafted to be good when
Mm.
you're drafted. And you recirculated the clip on Twitter I saw this morning of you wondering why a guy who averaged 9 and 4 in the NBL is going to go number one, and we trust him to be ultra productive now in the NBA.
Yeah, to be clear, 9 and 4 in Perth. When he played in the overtime elite league, there were 20 players in the league that scored more per game than Alex Sarr. So, like, just no step of the way in any organization, in any league on the planet, has Alex Sarr been one of the best productive players.
And
And
do you know who's looked great at his position instead of
who's,
Alex Sarr? It's
who's
been the
that?
two-time National Player of the Year, the guy who led his team to back-to-back national championships, and a freak athlete in Khalil Ware, who was an All Big Ten caliber player.
And honestly, Klingon hasn't even looked good, but Klingon leads the summer league in blocks and rebounds. Like,
Right, he's done what the Trailblazers drafted him to do,
yeah,
and what he did that helped UConn win back-to-back national championships.
yeah, it's like elite defensive guy, elite offensive guy, NBA prototype productive big. Take your pick. Give me the guy who averaged 9 and 4 in Perth and was 21st in the overtime elite league in scoring. Like it will never make sense. I think we will circle this one and go back to it for years to come. At this point, I'm rooting for him to figure it out just because I feel bad, but I don't know that I see this coming. Car, you know what I love about you?
That I'm handsome?
You're reliable. I can count on you. Honestly, you remind me of Aaron Henry a little bit. Remember when their back was against the wall, nothing was going right, and man just showed up every day. He didn't make excuses. There were no problems. There were just solutions.
Sounds like me.
That's you. And it also reminds me of Duncan Mechanical Solutions, because if you're looking for quality furnace repair, look no further than the heating and air experts that you can trust. Comfort and quality are their standard. They're an HVAC company that serves Northeast Indiana and Southern Michigan, whether it's heating and air conditioning, plumbing, kitchen and bath remodeling, or emergency services when you need them most. Duncan Mechanical Solutions has reliable service that you can count on. Cart, remember when your basement almost exploded?
I remember when my basement almost exploded. I remember when my furnace itself was acting funny. I remember when my AC was acting funny. I wish I had Duncan in my back pocket. I wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been anywhere in northern Indiana or southern Michigan that hasn't been perfectly cool or perfectly warm, depending on when the day called for. And that's because of Duncan Mechanical Solutions. They are the presenting sponsor for the month of July. Shout out to Duncan Mechanical Solutions. Go to duncanmechanicalsolutions.com to learn more.